That's disappointing, isn't it?
Well, he must be 100.
Yes, but Gary Lowe's 23, so Menzie Yere could, by all means, be 27.
By every measurable standard, Menzie Yere is aged between 21 and 50.
Maybe it should, like, you know how, like, there's 7 dog years for every human year? Maybe there's...
Menzie Yere years.
Maybe, like, it works the other way for, like, PNGians. So, like, there's only, like, I don't know, 3/4 of a year of a human... Yeah.
They are humans, Mark.
I'm just trying to explain why they all look so old, but they're so young.
I suspect it's not the most pampered existence in Port Moresby.
Possibly so.
I watched that Ross Kemp documentary. I know what I'm talking about. Shall I speak eloquently and in an educated and informed fashion on Papua New Guinea?
Bernard JKD says, I'm behind again, but Wigan not making the playoffs is a victory for football. Bunch of thugs, a lot of them. Now time for Wayne to leave the head coach's role. His team has played almost zero football for some years now.
Okay, well, Bernard, to the point.
Yeah, and in terms of the thugs, I don't agree necessarily. I think there's some thugs within there.
I think every team has a thug or two. Wigan
well, hardly Lee.
No, exactly.
Or Toronto.
Exactly.
But anyway, there are some people in there that you could label that at. But yeah, it is an interesting one. Obviously, one that Wigan fans are debating a lot about Sean Wayne. And in terms of like the sort of style of rugby they've played, yeah, it's been pretty. There's been a big drop off in the last 3 years. The thing is, what I don't get is his first 3 years in charge of Wigan. Wigan had twice had the highest points for in the league in that time.
Yeah.
But in his last 3 years, they've been second, then sixth, and fifth respectively in that measure. So I think it's, there is definitely been a drop off. We're all a bit fed up of the sort of styleless, movementless, excitementless kind of rugby that Wigan have been playing, but there is some execution issues in the way we play, and actually someone else who gets onto that. In terms of the Wayne camp, though, I'm on the fence. I mean, he's at the club to win trophies. He's done that. I sort of think if he can bring someone in that'll get the team playing in a more vibrant fashion like we were in 2012, 2013, 2014, maybe that would be what I'd want to see, but I wouldn't necessarily can him yet in totality. But it's a hard one. It's only one trophyless year at the end of the season.
He's got enough to get himself another year. I don't think he's under any pressure yet. I think if you get to this time next year and the trophyless, then probably as will roll.
Yeah, because we'll be completely trophyless that season.
Precisely,
There's no World Club Challenge for us to win. Neil McEwen also going to touch at Neil McEwen 4600. He said, listening to this week's pod, I had to rewind it to confirm Mark said Hull played boring up the middle of the park. Wow, pot kettle black. Now, my first thought is I definitely don't play up the middle of the park rugby league.
No, that would be my comfort zone, wouldn't it? That would definitely.
But obviously, he means Wigan, and whilst I do agree that Wigan have been really boring to watch at times, and that's what I was just saying, I think it's more because of poor quality in terms of executing the skills that are required, and a bit of fluidity and mobility in kind of the attacking structures, more so than up the middle rugby league. And I've got some things to support that, basically. So up the middle rugby league, what would you associate that with being?
Well, that's all the jumper forwards.
Right? Yeah, one-off carries to prop forwards or runs by dummy half down. They're the people that are in the middle, up the middle, aren't they? So you'd think no passing, that sort of thing. Yeah. So Wigan
5 drives and a kick.
Yeah. So on that, then Wigan's prop forwards have the smallest percentage of carries as a position group compared to any as a prop group compared to any other Super League side. So 23.1% of all Wigan's carries were by props compared to the league average of 25.5%. And Wigan's hookers have the lowest numbers of dummy half runs as a percentage of overall team carries, 2.4% of all team carries compared to the league average of 3.9%. So I would say those stats conclusively say it's not Wigan's boring rugby league is not an up the middle style. It's a it's a passing.
Sick of watching
that aren't right. It's trying to pass to people to expect them to do something brilliant every time on an individual basis rather than confusing defences frequently, like Castleford do with lots of different runners and stuff. They execute that best now, like Wigan were doing in 2012, say.
That's true, yeah.
And that's how it is. So it looks boring because nothing's really happening because you're passing the ball a few times to players who aren't really in a positive position to go forward unless they do something brilliant. And there's only so many times that George Williams or John Bateman or Sam Tompkins or Gildart or Gelling, whatever, one of the outstanding players in there or Gelling
on the ball and
can
do
something. Yeah.
But so you did, Neil.
So it's been boring, Neil, but it's not been up the middle. Okay.
That's very fucking. That was a Partridge moment there.
Bruiser664, Sean Orton got in touch. He said, no Tom Crook. Joseph Paolo hasn't retired. He played 10 games for Cronulla this year.
He could have lifted a fucking trophy for Cronulla this year. I don't want to know. I've not been following Cronulla as closely apart from the results and the odd kind of dip in really this year.
Well, you've not had your Premier Sports subscription,
exactly.
Back to back, who is what at Langers38 is going by at the moment. He said, a mere 2 hours 45 this week. Need to get more feedback and views in.
Well, he got some feedback to me actually whilst I was driving down here, complimenting me on the recommends for this week. Last week's recommends was Profits of Rage, if you recall.
Yeah.
Langers has been getting all around him.
It does look in his wheelhouse, doesn't it?
It's very much in my wheelhouse, so I'm glad to see that we have that in common, he and I.
A couple from Colin Render here now. Alternative dream teams, basically. His first one is all the potential players that could deserve to be in there. And then he said, here's his team. Now, we talked about most of these the other day, so I don't propose us to go through a list of all the players, other than just to agree, most of these players have had good seasons. Yes. So he said, Shaw, Marshall, Webster, Minikin we put at centre, but Tumavarvi we put on the wing. Just swap those
to be fair, on the Super League...
And take Tumavarvi out and put Connor in.
To be fair, on the Super League website, Tumavarvi's down as a winger.
Is he?
Yeah.
Mental. Roberts and Snade, Walmsley, McShane, Fafita, Farrell, Manu, Ellis. The only one of them I'd say is Tumavarvi. But other than that, total great calls. All of them would not have been out of place in that side. Yeah. Then he picked one. He said, pick a dream team with one player from each side plus one other, because obviously there's 12 sides, 13 players. He said, here's mine. Some teams were hard to pick one. So he's gone with Hanbury from Widnes, McGilvery from Huddersfield, Crooks from Lee, Gildart from Wigan, and Ben Jones Bishop from Wakefield. Then Myler from Catalan, Gale from Cass, Walmsley from Saints, Parcell from Leeds, Millington is his second Cass player.
That's a cop-out, that is.
Ellis from Hull, Murdoch Masilla from Salford, and Westerman from Warrington.
There you go.
So some interesting ones there. Yeah. I put one together.
Oh, have you really?
Yeah, a bit different. And I picked my two players from Wigan because I'm a Wigan fan.
Yeah.
And it just fell that way. That I needed another second rower.
Right.
So my team would have been Jake Mamo from Huddersfield.
There's a fine line between love and hate, isn't there?
Young Davies on the wing from Wigan, as our best player this season, I feel. Mitch Brown will get in there over Crooks from Lee. Junior Sow would be my Salford player, and he'd be in the centre. Tom Lynham would be my Warrington player. On the basis that actually he had a pretty decent try-scoring record in a bad side that this season.
He's not had a bad year, Tom Lynham. There's been a couple of players at Warrington that have had decent years that have just been hidden by the fact that the rest of them have been shit.
Yeah, then I'd go Albert Kelly and Luke Gale as my Hull and Cass players. Walmsley is my Saints player, Parcell is my Leeds player. I think those four are fairly obvious, I feel. Bousquet will get in as my Catalan player because I was trying to figure one out that could fit in somewhere, to be honest. Because Myler's not a 6 anyway. Then I've got Ashurst as my Wakefield player. I think he's probably been their best player over the whole piece this year. Miller's had great spells, but he's been out of the team.
Matty Ashurst had a phenomenal year, hasn't he?
Yeah, and to be honest, I wanted to go Ikehefo from Huddersfield, but I couldn't put any of the fullbacks from Catalan in. Or any of the centres, so it didn't work out that way. So I ended up with Bousquet there rather than Ikehefo. So Mamo plays. I don't know. Farrell was my second one because I love him. Cahill was my Widnes player.
There you go.
Lead forward.
Right.
So maybe people want to send those in, and we'll get to those because I'm sure there'll be loads of different interesting ones for that.
There you go.
Okay. Andy Barden at Brit_Renegade, but we'll always know him as the Electric Gigolo.
He is the Electric Gigolo.
He said, thanks for the mention on the show, guys. Can't wait for the fan season reviews and end of year awards. And on the similar topic, Dave Cantrell at Dr. Hideous got in touch and said, I'm writing a season review for the Broncos and the Scholars. Do you want it as one long one or split into two, one for each club? So
split it in two, David.
Yeah, we'll wrap all that up in saying if you're doing your season reviews, do them all. If you're doing for more than one club, so Ollie Smith might want to do one for Oxford and Cass, for example, or Tim G might do Oxford and Hull KR or whatever. If you're doing more than one team, send them, split them up, and then email them superleaguepod@gmail.com. Just a couple of minutes chatting about favourite moments, best players, best young players, whatever. Like, make it your own, but cover those sort of themes over 2 or 3 minutes and email them to us.
Don't make it your own too much. We don't want like songs and acoustic covers or anything thrown in there. Just
why not? As long as it fits the bill. If you get your kid involved, that's always.
You'll always get one if you got your children involved.
Yeah. So we want one from every club. So if you're a fan of a club that maybe like Lee, that we don't get too much feedback on, or we have like core people from all the other clubs,
from pretty much everyone else, don't we?
But make sure you get your season. If you've got any questions about the season review, get in touch with us at Super League Pod on Twitter or facebook.com/superleaguepod or the email address I just gave out. Yeah.
Superb.
Lee Whitnall said, I caught the pod late this week, so I'm not sure if you've already sorted the grand final meet-up, but Dockyard in Media City might be a good option. Just a thought.
Well, there we go. So let's talk about grand final Saturday then, because it's coming upon us, isn't it? And I have arranged for Erin to sleep at her grandparents, so I'll be free.
I had the same idea as Lee, actually, that somewhere around either the Lowry or Media City might be a good option, because it's around about 15 to 20 minute walk from the stadium. It's got good metro links.
Brilliant.
And there's car park at the Lowry Centre. Okay. There's buses that go there from different places and stuff. So it's pretty well set up. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the Dockyard. Me and you are going to get there for about 1:30 is what I'm telling you.
What time does that mean you need me to be getting through? Because I'm probably going to be coming through from Polton on the train.
Oh, if that's the case, I will put in some stuff on the train thing and tell you.
Okay, cool. Tell me what time I need to get the train from Polton.
Yes, I'll do that.
Fabulous.
It'll be roughly around about 11ish.
Yeah, super.
We'll be there for about 1:30. Is the plan, and we will then be there for a couple of hours or so. Probably head over to Old Trafford for about an hour, just over an hour before kick-off. Try and get a beer in the fan zone, but that might be harder to meet people and stuff because it might be a bit busier. But it just means we're closer to the area then, and that way we can see everyone who wants to see people. A few people have got in touch saying they're coming to the final or asking about meetups. What I've actually done is written a post on our blog, which I've not really put out there yet much because I was going to talk about it on the show first. That tells you everything about where we're going to be, when we're going to be, gives you a few images of the place so you can find it a bit easier and stuff.
There you go.
So I'm going to now start replying to everyone who's said that they're going to the grand final with links to it if they want to come and meet us, and putting it out there for anyone else. So if you want to have a look, superleaguepod.blogspot.co.uk, I think it is.
Yeah, and we'll be putting it up on Twitter and sending it out.
Yeah. You will. It's the second post because I did one on Lee's squad.
You did, picking the bones out of that one, which I enjoyed that.
Yeah, one of them's already come true-ish.
Yeah,
we'll talk about.
Yes, we'll get to that in the news, though, won't we? So it's not a lot long now to the grand final.
Look out for that, but Dockyard in Media City is probably where we're going to be the best place to meet us up. It's a good place for us to go. Lots of beer choices and stuff.
Bring your autograph book. So we can sign it.
Oh, I thought you meant someone famous might come to the meet-up.
Hey, Z-List Rugby League celebrities do come to places like that. And
finally, on the shout-out feedback section, Aaron Smith sent us a lovely long email. And so this is great. He said, "Hi Mark and Tom, hope you guys are well. Thought I'd send over an Eels and Origin update from down south for old time's sake. 2017 was another solid season for the Eels. The under-15 boys played up a year and made the under-16s quarter-final, just losing out in a close game against the Invicta Panthers 22-10. Our under-14s lads once again made it all the way to the grand final, losing out to the Elmbridge Eagles. flashbacks.
I remember hearing all these lovely names, yeah.
By a drop goal, 17-16. Wow, what a game. The Eels adult team competed well in the East Premiership division, finishing mid-table, which was excellent when you consider the average age of the team is 19, with 90% of the boys coming through the Eels junior teams. The Eels also formed a new under-11s team, which was really exciting. The boys played in 4 tournaments against teams like the Medway Dragons, Eastern Rhinos, Elmbridge Eagles, etc. They also competed against some teams from up north in the Challenge Cup Festival before doing a match parade around Wembley before the main event. So